everyone, it's Kristen Redmond, and today we're going to go over those planetary aspects that are surrounding us and affecting us for this week, October 24th through the 30th. And this week, as we're getting closer to Halloween, we all start to feel that Halloween energy of spookiness and scariness and death and ghosts and things along those lines. And I love it because it's a great segue for me to really say what the energy of this week is. And it's all of those spooky, scary Halloween type things that Scorpio brings. Okay, the sun transited into the sign of Scorpio on Friday last week. So when the sun goes through all the signs in the zodiac, it spends 4 weeks out of the year in each sign. And when it's there, it really shines a light on the essence of that house, that sign, that energy. And so now it's in Scorpio. And Scorpio is all about death. It's about the darker, more taboo, hidden things that happen in our lives that we don't necessarily want to drag out into the light of day and deal with. We'd rather keep it back in the good old subconscious and let it be buried there, and then it gets repressed, and then we have issues down the road, right? So here comes Scorpio sun, and it shines a light on that. And it says, let's bring this stuff out. Let's get to the root of the problem and just dig it out and get rid of it and make everything better, okay? So you'll all find that this week, because we've got Mercury transiting into Scorpio as well. Mercury is the planet of thought and communication. So when it goes into this sign, we really start thinking a lot about those majorly transformative losses that we've had in our life, those Scorpio energies that make us who we are and help us to transform and transcend to the next level. The Mercury and Sun are actually going to align on Wednesday, on the 27th too. So it really carries this energy this week of really focusing on those Scorpio issues of past losses, okay? It deals with death, it deals with rebirth, okay, and intimacy, okay? These are all the areas people don't really like to talk about, right? They'd rather keep it all buried and hidden. But when the sun is there, when Mercury's there, it's okay to deal with them. And you know why? Because Scorpio is such a good detective. It's such a good investigator, and it really does deal with these things on a very good level when the sun is in this area. We have those deeper conversations with people, and we're able to find the answers that we need. And we're also able to connect with ourselves on a metaphysical level, because Scorpio is such an intensely intuitive and darker energy side, because it is the death house, the 8th house that rules Scorpio. It's all about death. So we're able to get in touch with that aspect of ourselves too, with the ghosts and the goblins and the Halloween and all those things. It is a real thing, okay? We are able to access that every day of our lives. We really are. And to get that guidance that we need. You know, we all have 5 guardian angels that are assigned to us at our birth. And we also have 5 demons. People don't realize that. We all have 5 demons that follow us also and challenge us through this life. And people think, well, that's not good. We don't need that. But with everything in life, you have the polarities, right? You have the light and you have the dark. So, of course, we would have 5 demons that constantly push us and test us with the same lessons over and over. So we ultimately can transform, transcend, and then teach others from what we've learned in that process, right? So here we are this week really focusing on these things, right? The thing when Mercury goes into Scorpio, we really want to dig deep into these hidden areas, bring it out, work out the issues that we need to in the areas of death. That can be literal death of people that we've lost, or it can be, you know, a figurative loss of a relationship or a job or an opportunity or any of those things that have really deeply impacted us that we need to leave, bury, and then move on and move forward, right, into something better for us. It can also deal with rebirth. Like I said, this is the house of metaphysics, but it's also the house of psychology and the deep mind. And when the sun shines a light through there, of course it's going to bring these things out into the open. We're going to notice those gifts that we have, those psychic gifts that we have a little bit more. You may hear more noises or have more dreams. Keep a journal, you know, pay attention to these wonderful angels and the demons also, right? We got to take the good with the bad and ultimately learn the most that we can from ourselves with that. Also, when the sun is through this, the sign Mercury this week, especially on Wednesday and for the rest of the week, we're focusing on another area of Scorpio, which is intimacy. And that is always difficult for people to talk about. People don't like to bring that kind of thing up. But you know what? It is very, very vital in our lives. It certainly is. Because it's how we share of ourselves with another person, right? And that's money. That's our physical body. That's our mind, our spirit, our soul, and our physical resources also, our money, our monetary things that we have. So we find that we're going to be focusing a lot on that as well, how much we share of ourselves with other people. Because in those relationships, through that intimate bond, that's how we are able to truly be happy and to truly transcend ourselves and transform ourselves, because we're giving of ourselves and receiving at the same time. So Scorpio energy with that this week, big time, big time. We also have a Scorpio new moon. Okay, so we got all of these things, right? Let's say you've got all these issues with grief and loss of a person, or let's say you are having intimacy issues in your marriage, and you can't seem to move past those, and you don't know what to do. Or if you're having issues psychologically, or even if you want to get in touch with your metaphysical side, this new moon that's coming up on Sunday is really going to be a good fertile soil for you to really put your seeds of intention in for change. New moons represent change, okay? And every new moon is going to carry the flavor of that sign. And we just went through all that with Scorpio, right? You're totally cool and up to date on what Scorpio means. Do you need changes in any of these areas in your life? Are you ready to let go of grief? Are you ready to let go of those chains that hide you back from really being able to share of yourself intimately with somebody? Is it about your joint finances and your money and your debt that is so out of control? Because that's also very Scorpio energy. Put those seeds and fears, okay, into the new moon. And then as the moon moves into the full moon phase, that's when we get our blessings. So main focus we're going to have right now is that change. What do we want to change? What don't we want anymore? And you dump that into the new moon, and it brings those changes for us. So definitely, if you find yourself in that debt cycle, if you're focused on addictions that you have and those losses, this is the time to really rid of that junk this week. Put it into the new moon. The new moon equals self-mastery, okay? That's what we want, is this transformation, right? Just bring change, right? And this week, too, we also have a lot that we're focusing on. There's a lot of this intensity, right? But we also had Venus go into the sign of Sagittarius last week, and it's so optimistic because it's ruled by Jupiter, okay? And this week, Venus and Saturn align in Sagittarius, and Saturn is more of the teacher, okay? And ultimately good blessings come out of it. But Saturn kind of likes to restrict and hold things back and say, okay, let's put some boundaries on this and let's try to figure this out. And so this week, it's putting that money planet, that love planet, Venus, a little bit, it's kind of reining it in a little bit, okay? And right now it's teaching it lessons about how it has overextended itself in the areas of love and money, how you tend to overpromise yourself in either of those areas, and that can lead to the debt, or that can lead to those intimacy issues that you have with others. Saturn's going to really shine a light on those lessons, I guess, this week. And a lot of the energy that happens with this and through the remainder of the week is about problems that we have in those relationships that have really been swept under the rug, okay, and not dealt with for a long time, and they need to be focused on. So Saturn is the restrictor and the teacher, right? The parent that comes in and says, okay, we're going to pull this out on the carpet. We're going to face it, and we're going to be mature adults, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to get this taken care of, right? So that's a good energy, but it also restricts too. So, yes, we've got that going on this week. That's pretty much about everything this week. We've also got some stuff happening with Uranus and Mars midweek too. That's going to kind of bring a little bit of unexpected things with our energy levels and things like that. So I would expect probably like Thursday for a little bit of a crash to be happening with that unexpectedly, or unexpected arguments also too, because when they square off like that, Mars energy tends to be aggressive at times. So Uranus, that unpredictable planet, may bring some unexpected energies along those lines. So keep an eye out for that. But for the most part, a lot of it is about Scorpio yet again this week, right? We have so much focus on that. And so this week we're going to see what they want us to do. Let's see. I feel I am going to shuffle this 9 times, and I know that seems excessive, but 9 is a number of endings, okay? And those transformations that happen as a result when we hit the number 10, right? 10 is a number of change and new beginnings, okay? And so 9 is that number just before those massive endings, when we have to really take that leap of faith to decide what we need to do. 9 is the number for Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet of luck and expansion. So through that energy, that's what I'm kind of bringing in this week to help people move past those blocks that keep them in grief, that keep them in sadness, that keep them in situations that are not healthy or good for themselves. Runaway card. Okay, well, I think that's a sign. I said enough of that, Kristen. Okay, so the card that jumped out of the deck, and anytime you have a card jump out of a deck, they say that's basically like the angels like throwing it out there and saying, yeah, pay attention to this one. This is the 6 of Fire card, okay? And it represents being recognized for your efforts that you've put in, okay? And that you actually ultimately do. I love when my nails match the card that comes out. Look at that. Orange is all about those addictions and debts and fears and things like that that get stuck in the sacral chakra. I feel like they're really focusing on that sacral chakra. Because a lot of times we do these addictions, we become dependent on substances that fill that void of being able to connect with God and to receive those messages from our angels, or the demons too, right? Because they teach us just the same. But it gets blocked when we use alcohol, drugs, things along those lines. It kind of skews what we need anyway. Whoa, getting off on a tangent there. Six of Fire here. It's about finally getting recognized for all of the efforts that you've put in. And it says that, you know what, good news is on the way. This is also a good messenger card as well, too, that things are really going to start working in your favor. Finally getting recognized for what it is you do. So a lot of that energy, too, because we're in the Leo moon still. I'm going to pull a chakra card with that, too, just to kind of get a little bit more than that. Pulling those dark things out of the recesses of the mind, right? And getting recognition for it, bringing recognition to those things. I think I need to do this 6 times. So hold on. Yeah, okay, save this one. Okay. And it's bittersweet. Oh, that's so very true, isn't it? Letting these things go. Gosh, you know, it's like a lot of times with that Scorpio energy, those dark things that we hold in the back of the mind, we kind of use them as a crutch, don't we? Like, I can't really give of myself fully to somebody because I had this happen to me before, or I can't move on to a new relationship because I'm still focused on the loss of my spouse, or I can't get into a new job because I focused so much of my energy on this other one, and now that it's gone, I can't. It's these things, it's like we lost something along the lines, right? And it's so hard because if we let that go, it literally means we have to let it go and move on and start into new territory, right? And explore outward. And it's a very hard thing because we need to let go of these griefs and this loss and this sadness so we can move forward and we can have the wonderful things that we've been asking for. But it is bittersweet. It's good with the bad, taking the good with the bad. And this card works on the throat chakra. I thought they were going to focus more on the sacral, which I know they definitely are because it's orange, and I've got this orange. I was so drawn to putting orange on my nails to focus on that area. But this one has to do with the throat chakra, okay? And I can see why they're saying it, because those energies cycle through one another. The throat chakra helps us to say what it is we need to say to somebody, okay? I feel a lot of those blocks that come out in the Scorpio energy is about that shared resources, that debt that we have, the intimacy issues, those connections with people that we have that are gone, and we're communicating with the dead, the deceased, with the spirit world, with our guides. It's all through the throat chakra, right? So a lot of focus on that this week too, to be able to say what we need to say and to be heard, okay? It also projects our voice so we can be heard to those that we're trying to work with. I totally did not even pull a stone. Man, I'm going backwards with my reading today to see what Archangel's working with us this week with all this energy. So, who is it? Archangel Raziel. Ooh, wow, and the light just came through like crazy. Ooh, that was very miraculous. And how cool is that? I had a feeling he was going to come through too. He is the angel of metaphysical everything, right? You want to learn about your esoteric knowledge and how you're naturally a healer or how you're naturally a psychic, and you have these feelings all the time when something's going to happen and then they happen. if you want to get to the bottom of figuring that out, right, the Sun in Scorpio is really good for that, right? Obviously, as we discussed earlier. But Archangel Raziel is that angel that helps you to understand these metaphysical things that happen in your life. He helps you access that esoteric knowledge, that ancient knowledge that each one of us has coming into this lifetime of how to access these cool areas and to get the help we need from the invisible resources that are around us, right? So we call on Archangel Raziel. He is the rainbow, right? That is what's awesome about the crystal quartz and Raziel, is that they embody every color of the rainbow. So they radiate the essence of every energy in the spectrum, right? So you think of all of the colors, you think of all the chakras, all the alignment. When everything's aligned, there is balance and there is harmony and there is happiness. So ultimately, though it may be hard, right, we got to dig back there, bringing these things out into the light, right? The dark comes into the light. We get recognition to those things, recognition for ourselves, for the grief and the loss that we went through, recognition to the people that were a part of that and saying thank you, whether it's losing that relationship, friend, family, whatever it is, right? We get all that and we get the guidance that we need to move forward in this life and be happy and balanced, right? That's the goal. So everybody have a wonderful week leading up to Halloween, and light and love. Thank you. Bye.